like that voice
Chat
behind the
away.
camera.
Doing her thing. Chatty Cathy Julie.
This is great. So how did the week go for everybody?
Good.
Good. All right, now, for those of you that were here last week and stuff, how did you do on your homework?
They're not big, but I did them.
Oh, excellent.
And I'm
Okay.
gonna put them on a little cardboard board so they're up there. And I've
Okay.
got my son's giving me a whiteboard that I can put in my office, so it's gonna be in my office file. And then I'll keep swapping them out as I do, and I'm not all the way done with all my dues.
Oh, isn't that the fun thing?
Yeah.
But the other thing that I absolutely
Doing it
love,
though.
how are you starting your day with 10 things that I am so grateful for, or 10 things that just, this is why I love what I do, or 10 things it's like, I can't wait to see what the rest of today's like. I mean, how's it have been for you?
That's definitely good. That's, I don't know. I have to make a conscious effort to focus on it, so it was a good challenge, and it definitely starts the morning off right.
Oh, you meant to that? I agree. What stood out though, or out of last week? Well, okay, the first week, you know, pretty much was setting up your affirmation and just kind of, and we talked about getting your database in place so that we could actually do something, you know, with it. And last week with Fred, showed him how, like, just in Facebook, well, actually, no, in Real Geeks, but how you can create like a Facebook ad, and again, just to help advertise his property and to have it free, but just another avenue to get yourself out. I don't know what your week has been like and stuff, so what else? Because the other thing we were supposed to do, let me really fast, pull it up.
Go item by item, let's go. So,
Okay.
who set up their database? Raise your hand.
Okay.
All right. Everybody stare at Daryl and go, it's tough. It is one of the most, it's one of the hardest things. No, it's one of the hardest things to do up front. It seems to always take a backseat to so many other things. And it's for some reason, it's tough to do, but once you have it and you implement the systems, it's one of the most powerful things. So now that you have it, I know that Buffini is great. That's one of the biggest things about Buffini.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Actually, would you mind sharing a little bit about what Buffini has you do for your database? Because everyone, like, I'm in Tom Ferry, and I love Tom. He's me, right? But he's not for everybody. Just like Mike Ferry's not for everybody, and there's so many great coaches out there. So you need to find the one that fits your personality, because that's when you are going to flourish, right? And I think you found a really good match.
Well, no, and I love a lot of what Ferry talks about too, and I told you this. I like picking out things that can kind of add and reinforce what you're already doing. So I've had my database set up from, thankfully I had a really good person like kind of on me like early on. What we do is we split them out, so you, again, same thing, you pull up everybody you know. I had a pretty big sphere, so I put them in the system right away, put names, phone numbers, or addresses, just get them in there. Even if you don't have it, just get their name in there. And then what you do is you spend about, literally, it's so easy because of the way their database works, you go in and you sort them.
Yeah.
And you sort them from A+, A, B, C, and then D is for like delete. I use D's for my B2B contacts because I can keep them over there. And then what the system does is it tells you who to call, who to pop by, who to do notes to. I don't even have to think. Every day it comes up and I know what my hour of power that he calls it.
Wow.
We have something similar.
That's a really good idea.
So basically your A+'s are your people who are your biggest advocates. They're the ones that have referred you more than once. And they can change, so if they go dormant for a while and they're not, like for 2 years, they're not referring you anymore, you can change it. And A's are people that have referred you at least once. Now they may not have bought, that's in my ballpark, but at least they're giving you names and they're giving you people to work with. And then B's are people who would refer you if they knew how. C's are people that are kind of newbies for me, like maybe somebody I just met at the store. I did a garage sale for my neighborhood and I wanted to bring in more database, so 2 weekends ago on the 27th, that was one of my events that I was doing, and I put 7 new names from my neighbors that did not know me before. So I put them in as C's. And you don't have to sort them, but just everybody you meet, and then that way and then I wrote them all notes, and some of them come back in the mail, like this one. But anyway, so it's very cool, I love it, it keeps me organized, I don't have to think what I have to do, it tells me every day. So my goals for doing like how many hours of power and everything that he was talking about, they're kind of in my Buffini system. It'll tell me every day. I go in and I say my goal is this much in money, and it tells me, for me right now, I'm 1 out of every 17 contacts will get me a referral, and then 1 out of every
that's
3
wonderful.
referrals. So contacts can be face to face or voice to voice, and then 1 out of every 3, and that's just because I've been using the system for so long. It tells me 1 out of every 3 referrals turns into a deal for me.
That's crazy. Because if you go to like Tom Ferry's numbers, 1 out of 50,
Yeah.
and it's almost like right there.
Right, exactly,
That's
exactly,
crazy.
3 times 17, yeah.
Yeah.
So, seriously, I love it. I think whoever is doing, you can do a spreadsheet, you can do whatever you want, you can write it on a piece of paper. I mean, I'm a big believer in the database, because I brought my database from my old world. And when I first started in real estate, I sent out a big email to everybody and say, hey, I'm so excited, I'm doing this. And I had right away from my sphere, that first year, I had like 4 people come forward and ended up in some sort of transaction with me.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now,
Awesome.
if I may ask, what is that ABC?
Yeah, what,
Yeah.
so in the database, so, Brian Buffini's, it's called Referral Maker, and and it's, their CRM is called Referral Maker, and, you have to pay for it to have it monthly, but it just does so much for you, and it saves me so much time. I have coaching now with him on top of it, so I'm paying for more
Okay.
services on top, and then, but just for the database, I think it's something close to $20-some a month, I think, just for the database. And what it does, Charlotte, is when you put your names in, it will make you sort them. And all it does is it comes right up, and the sorting process takes like, seriously, like 20 minutes. So it'll go through, I probably have about 400 names,
Okay.
and I've been doing this for like 6 years. So I have 400 names in there right now that I talk to. Then I have my B2B contacts that I don't market to them, but they're people that are still important, so I use them separately. But I've weeded out a lot of my people, but it will let you go in and it's called sorting. You just sort and you think, okay, has this person referred me more than one? Yep, then they're an A+. And if the spouse is in there, you put them in the same if you want, or if the spouse isn't really referring you, you can leave the spouse different. But I like to make the spouse, but it'll link the two together.
All right, excellent.
If you pull up just YouTube, Brian Buffini, like in Working by Referral, that's like his thing, and he has so many. And I know it's one of these two. How to ask for referrals are 80% of all transactions. I think in one of them he actually goes through the ABC and puts them in the target, right? And yeah.
Yep. And so
Yeah.
the idea is, if you have them that way and sorted, you guys, you go in and you touch them. So your A's and your A+, you're gonna have more contact with those people. At first I felt a little freaked out that I was gonna have commission breath with these people, and I didn't wanna do it, okay? But then I was like, no, okay, I'm there to help them. So I call them up and I just check in with them. Hey, how's it going? How are the kids? If they just bought for me and they refer me, how's that? And we call, we have jokes, we do what? And I talk to my A's and my A+ at least once a month on the phone. And then I'll sometimes have something else, and then I send them a note, or I send them
Here's my
a
story.
cookie or whatever, so.
I may have read it out from my.
And they also have an app, which I love, because when I'm driving around, the coolest thing, and I sound like a Buffini commercial right now, but it's true.
It's all good.
So it tells me how many calls I've made out of my total. I'm a little behind right now. I've made 4 out of my 20 this week I'm supposed to make. I'm supposed to send 10 notes. I'm supposed to get 2 new contacts every week. And again, these are just my goals. You can
Yeah,
change them and set them up. Pop-bys, I always have little pop-by goodies for people that I can pop by and drop off. I'm supposed to do 2 a week there. Sometimes I do those in big bulk. But in the end, when you're driving around, you can actually, it'll see where you are. So like right now, if I wanted to do a couple pop-bys, I keep them in my car. It'll tell me exactly where they are. And I can say, I want to do pop-bys. So you just go into the pop-by thing here, and it pulls up the map, and it tells me where all my clients are.
That is so
For
neat.
heaven's sakes.
That's a pretty
So
comprehensive
for
That
me,
is
it's like, it's so organized.
Yeah.
But he does the same kind of a thing, and I love that too. So see, they tell me,
Yeah.
all
I
my
don't
peeps are.
think my app has that. That's a cool thing. Especially I mean
Yeah.
when you're featured on Popeye, you want to make that as easy as possible, and to know that's great.
Yeah, so one of my Popeyes is 1,458 miles away because he moved to Chicago. So enough
Quick
about all
flight.
that.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, but
That's
I love it.
wonderful.
I can't live without that database.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
freak out without it.
Because one of the reasons why I want you to have your database in place is one of my goals is that weekly, we all actually are doing something that to use it. And just to see what's out there, but the fact that you're doing something to get your name out there.
So, did
And
you send
so-
yours?
Yes.
You did?
Yes, I sent mine, and it's like, I can't wait to add to it and do it again. But you know, like you were saying, Julie, what I love is in wanting to be more organized. And so when you kind of have your day planned out, and once you have these things in place, it really doesn't take very long to actually do it. And so I posted something, it's like, whoop, got that one done, you know, and then like the next day, whoop, got that one done. And so that's the whole purpose and why, for this, I'm pushing, if we don't have our database in place,
Especially today, going
I'm-
into work tomorrow.
I'm gonna make you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I actually
There you go.
downloaded it to Google, so I actually have it brought in.
Okay.
I just have
Perfect.
to make sense of it.
That's
Just have to
step
make
one
sense
though.
of it,
You
yeah.
you have it in
Alright.
one place finally.
Yeah.
That's a good spot. Really fast before we move on, Daryl had a really good story too
No, I
about
don't.
something he did. And this is the power of Real Geeks and why if you just utilize it, you will win. And he didn't put any money behind it, which is what I want to stress.
Mm-hmm.
Free.
Sweat equity.
And I'm sure you sweated hard.
Yeah, I am. Because I
Awesome.
hear you talk, I hear Fred talk about wanting to do more with Real Geeks and posting an ad within Real Geeks to Facebook. And once you start doing it, it becomes so easy. And then Josh is really big on A/B and testing. And I just do something that appeals to me and what I think might appeal to the audience. And what I get, 3 or 4 the
Oh,
last
you
times
you
I
even
posted.
got you got another one or two yesterday too. Still.
Yeah, so
At least.
I've had
What was your
success.
ad? What did it say?
It's just a open that I did, and I've just continually refined that. I think I changed one picture on the set. So you could do any of our listings, you can do any of your listings, and it's once you do it once, it's so easy. It's just tweaking the ad and then just post it.
They make it
It's
easy
all
where you can
Facebook.
clone it, change
It's,
it
yeah,
into
and that's
it.
what I did. I just cloned that same ad, so I didn't have to repeat it. Yeah. So it's super easy once you do it.
Yeah.
And
So we
yeah.
did, this is what we did last week
Yeah,
at Fred's
so-
place up in the White Mountains.
Yeah, so this is Daryl's right here, and that's the difference. Mine are big because these are paid ads that we do. Daryl on 83rd.
Yeah.
Great
It
one.
was North 83rd Drive. I don't know how close it was, but that was the one that I just talked about, that the guy was Fisbo. It was right there.
In Peoria?
Yes, it was very far for me to drive.
That's about 10
I was
minutes,
like-
not even 10 minutes from my house.
Oh,
It's
no.
like,
So we're on
is
opposite
that a
ends
a
of
Las
it,
Vegas
yeah.
referral from
Yeah.
that side?
Yeah, well, I told John, I said, I just saw a sign that said Kingman in Las Vegas. I think I'm not near where I'm supposed to be. And John's like, you're fine, Julie. I'm like, I'm way out here.
That's
But
like,
yeah.
I was in Santan
Oh my gosh,
a
yeah.
week ago.
Yeah, and you're like,
I think I'm almost in
This was-
Tucson.
This is great though. So Daryl, obviously this is just the ad, and it goes out, and he just has his audience. You don't. This isn't an ad, so it's not going out to a paid audience. This is his friends and.
And I
That's
share
it.
it. What I do is I take it and then I share it to other Facebook groups.
Yep.
So I've shared it with my group, and then because that's my business one, so I go beyond that and I go and I share it with all the different other Facebook groups that I'm
Hey, Red.
associated with.
Yeah.
And then some of them tell me,
And
why are
that's-
you posting this on this? It's no solicitation.
Yeah.
I don't post to that one anymore.
We'll move it. I got my first correction the other day too. Like, I like your green screen video, but this isn't the group for that. Please delete it. It's like, oh, okay. But it's worth it, and that is the easiest way because you might only have 300 friends, 2,000 friends, 5,000 friends. There are Phoenix groups out there, and Peoria groups, and homes for sale groups that have 15,000 people, 25,000 people, 3,000 people. And so you just post here, post there, post there, post there.
Yeah.
Before you know it, you got it out to 25,000, 30,000 people, and you're going to get some leads.
Yeah.
And so I wish there was an easy way for me to bring it up, but I think at this point in time, he's gotten probably 7 or 8 viable like people that have signed up
Now,
and given email.
did Fred's, anything come out of Fred's?
It would have gone to.
You need to show me how to do that.
They're so
Fred's
easy.
post.
Okay.
I need to do it over the
No,
phone.
I don't think we've
Okay.
gotten
They
anything
really
off
do.
of Fred's
All right.
post.
I love, because it's like, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah, Fred's is a little bit different. When you're selling an RV
So you
park
have
up
to
in
do
the
it through Real Geeks, right?
It's their specific Facebook posting tool, and this is what in particular, like several of them have it. Like Perfect Storm now has it, and so we did a comparison, exact same verbiage, exact same pictures, and see which one got more responses. Real Geeks won by far. I don't know how they're able to do it, and utilizing, for example, what
Because we
he
can do
did.
it for the lease-ups, can we?
Yeah.
Oh, you could do
I
any,
mean,
yeah, you can do it for
yeah.
anything. This is where
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
I
about,
have
play around with.
on our new training page, if you go on our website, the very bottom video is a guy who does Facebook. He's a local guy here down, I think he's off of Central, and his whole business is off of Facebook marketing, and the guy gets hundreds of leads off of his posts and stuff. And so a lot of what I do, I modeled after him. And it's a decent video, and he kind of shows you exactly how he created his audience,
Can you
what
post
he's.
it for us?
Yeah, it's on the training. It's on our training website. And then on top of that, this is what's really deceptive, and I should have pointed this out a long time ago. Under Real Geeks, right here on the right, where it says Help Docs, very deceptive, very deceptive. Most of them aren't. They're movies.
Oh, that's where I had to find it.
Yes, how-to videos, and so you'll see a lot of them. And when you come down here to Facebook, there we go, Facebook marketing tool, how to get started, all that good fun. So there's a lot of good stuff here to kind of help figure that part out. But then on our Facebook page too, I posted a lot of those, because right now it is the most affordable way. If you have a lot of friends and you utilize groups, it's the easiest way to get it out to everybody. But if you can put, say, $5 a day to an ad, you can get hundreds of leads if you do it right. It's crazy. And Google, if you're going to go Google Ads or Realtor.com or any of those, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars and get a quarter of the leads, maybe.
And
It's
they're all
crazy.
gonna be Mickey Mouse.
Potentially,
That would be their
exactly.
name.
So anytime anybody wants to strategize on those things, I love the marketing part. That's my favorite. So let's. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, Mom.
No,
Didn't mean to commandeer your meeting.
Totally appreciate it, because it's just, it's good stuff. But again, why it's so important to have that database, and then also doing the doing and done list. And I love that on the do list, it's like, I'm putting down everything. Doesn't matter how silly or maybe insignificant, it's something that I want to do, and it's actually prompting me into action to doing it, and then moving it to the done. And I love that. But the other thing that I took from last week had to do with actually using the whiteboard and doing like your listings and then, you know, your transactions, so that I can remember that, oh, that's right, I gotta do this and this and this, you know? And because at a glance, it keeps me motivated, but also it helps me to see that I am doing stuff. So that was the other thing I took from last week.
As much as we appreciate online and having your calendar and your leads here, having something where you can just turn back around and be reminded at a glance of how big the picture is and all these people you have is way better. I can't stress it enough. I'm very old school in that way. Like, as much as I appreciate the convenience of being mobile, nothing beats that board and actually keeping track of your hot prospects, people that are coming up listings,
Yep.
and just keeping them organized on that level. Even if you have this too, it's awesome and it's moving.
Yeah, yeah. I love the fact that, tonight we get to see the first of the Olympics. Tomorrow night's gonna be the opening ceremony. But tonight you've got figure skating starting. And what I love is, for probably the last month or so, they've been sharing, the journey, especially of, oh my gosh, now my mind went blank. Not Chiffron, but there's another skier.
Oh, the alpine skier,
Yes,
Lindsay?
yeah, Lindsay,
Vaughn.
Lindsay.
Yeah, Vaughn, yeah.
And what I love, but especially for, I think it was Chiffron, is that she began to post, I am. And so she just had little post-its that said, I am, just wherever, like when she opened the refrigerator, and think, I am, you know, I am a great agent. I am whatever. And I love that on a daily basis, what can we do, again, just to get us kind of geared up, you know, and feeling good. And not that we want, you know, life to always feel good, but I mean, it helps with the motivation. And it helps with my goals for the day. So I am. And so anyway, I thought maybe I could throw that out for you just to think about. What are you? I am Daryl, the greatest property manager ever. You know, I am
Oh, hail
an
Daryl.
excellent husband. You know, I am, I'm a great teacher. I love, I mean, because you're going to find throughout the day to keep adding and you know, don't allow
It
ourselves
helps
to
you
be
keep
defeated.
a positive attitude.
Absolutely, absolutely. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and get started then with session 3, because I'm anxious to see what he's going to share. Creating a breakthrough referral, because it's like, oh, got that, yep, done that, yeah. All right, and that's the goal. All right, full sizes here. Let's have fun.
Thank you. So, welcome back. First and foremost, how's your attitude? Are you guys in good spirits? Yes. Yes, and if you're watching this right now on video, I cannot stress to you enough how important it is that you operate at level 10 every day. It's a mindset and it's a choice. See, every day I say to myself, I choose to operate at level 10. And it's just that great little reminder to do what I know I'm supposed to do and to be the way I want to be, not just for my customers, for my family, for my friends, and everyone I interact with. That's what it's like to be at level 10. Are you guys up for that? Yes. Outstanding. So how do you feel about your do, doing, and done board and the business tracking boards? Are you getting value out of that? Yes. You know, again, I just cannot stress, you're going to have so many great ideas, so many things that you're going to want to do. We had to create a usable way for you to take those from idea to implementation, from do to doing. So I'm so proud that you've incorporated that. Now remember, growing to the next level happens when you make a commitment and you follow through. Remember, if you want to break through, you got to follow through. So today, we're going to grow our referral business. How's that sound? We all want more referrals. So let me ask you a question. Has there ever been a time in your career when someone you know bought or sold from someone else? Yeah. Has it ever happened? Right? Most of us in the room are going to say absolutely yes. Now, if it hasn't happened to you, certainly you've heard of this happening to others. I was on a recent coaching conversation with one of our clients. We'll just call him Jay. Jay has struggled, as many agents have, to pick up the phone and actually call on his customers. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? So guess what he does? He mails to them every single month, which, by the way, is expensive to do if you don't ever reach out. So he's been mailing and mailing and mailing, and even in the month of November and December, he'll package up a nice gift, and he'll mail it to all of his past clients. Well, guess what? Because he's not making those phone calls, one day he received a phone call, and it's the phone call that none of us want. As he's sitting inside his office, an attorney called him and said, hey, I'm looking at this purchase agreement for a multi-million-dollar property, and I noticed your name isn't on it. That hurts, right or wrong, my friends. And what was interesting is he actually said to me, I just mailed them something. I just sent them a gift over the holidays. How could they not remember me? Here's the point, my friends. There's a lot of lessons here, and the big lesson I want you to get is if you really want more referrals, can you be like Jay and just mail them stuff? Or today, do we have to reach out in more relevant ways to generate those referrals and establish that relationship? What do you guys think? We've got to reach out. We've got to connect. So what I wrote down in your book, and I want you to see the note, it says, we must deliver more relevant value and in multiple mediums to stay top of mind and win the referral game. So again, we've got to deliver more relevant value and in multiple mediums to stay top of mind to ultimately win the referral game. Does that make sense? So think about this. Why is it that Jay and so many other agents we know simply don't call on their database? When we survey people, we ask them on Facebook or just directly in our coaching conversations, we hear some of the following. And let's see if any of these relate to you. The number one thing we hear is, well, I don't know what to say. Like, you know, and then of course, if I don't know what to say, you lack the confidence. The second one is, I haven't spoken to them in years, and it'd be a little embarrassing to follow up now. Have you guys had that experience? Of course. And of course, there's always the classic, you know, I don't want to come across too salesy, right? Or worse, I don't want to come across desperate, like I need business. My brother who coaches for us actually calls that commission breath. He says, yeah, think about it. When all you're doing is calling on customers and you're kind of seeing them as a transaction, then you've got commission breath. But the big one I hear a lot too from clients is, look, Tom, you have to understand, my clients are really busy, so I don't want to interrupt their day. Now, do any of those sound familiar at all? Now remember the story I told you a few sessions back about the two shoe salesmen sailing off to Africa? One reporting back and saying, no one here wears shoes, sales prospects are bleak, while the other was saying, no one here wears shoes, sales are unbelievable. It all comes down to your attitude, my friends. It all comes down to your attitude. So this is an opportunity for you to create a breakthrough. Now let me ask you, is there an opportunity for all of you to generate more referrals, yes or no? And for you watching, there's no doubt in my mind that you're not doing enough today, or you're doing just enough to generate a few, and with a few more campaigns and the right attitude, we could absolutely explode your referral business. So consider, my friends, you've heard me say repeatedly, attitude is everything. I want you to write down this question. In your book it says, what's your attitude towards serving the people you know? What's your attitude towards serving the people you know? Is your attitude, I can't wait to do it? Is your attitude, I want to be the single source of information? Is your attitude, you know, I don't really want to bug them too much? Is your attitude, oh, I'll just mail them stuff? Well, whatever your attitude is, your actions are going to follow. So think about it. Do you agree that...
I'm going to stop it for just a quick moment. Just for you to write down. What is your attitude? I mean, what is it that motivates you to do what you're doing? Because I put down, I can't wait to help them get what they want.
I'm a little more drastic. I'd better be the one. I take ownership. It irks me when, you know, if they didn't choose me, I take that. Now I don't blame them. I blame what should I have done? What could I have done differently? You know? Yeah.
Okay.
I will admit, ironically, I don't call my past clients like enough. I kind of use property management and take it for granted as much. I use it to follow up with people, not instead of me, kind of. So past clients specifically, in management, I might sound like commission breath sometimes because I do call them when I have like good deals and stuff because I think investor, you know, unless I have something of value,
That's true, or just
and my value to
checking
them is finding good properties.
Yeah. All right, did I give you time to write it out?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Definitely.
Great service is the cornerstone for generating lots of referrals. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah. So what's your service or marketing plan to keep the people you know informed on the market, involved with you and the community, so they're ultimately empowered to refer you more business? Think about the question. What's your service or marketing plan to keep the people that you know informed on the market, involved with you in their community, and ultimately empowered to refer you more business. So let's explore the question in your workbook. What do people want to know from their agent? You can see we gave you a few answers, but I want you to circle the one perhaps that you hear the most when you're talking to people you know. We know from our studies that consumers want to know, hey, what's selling in my neighborhood? Do you guys ever get that question? Right? What's selling in my neighborhood? How about how much are homes selling for? Does that ever come up? These are important questions that people are asking every day, but the big one is, how much is my home worth? How much is my home worth? So think about it. If you were just looking at all the people inside your database, which of those three questions do they want the most? What answers do they want? At the end of the day, they want to know how much their home is worth. Well, consider that the people you know want this information so badly that tens of millions of people visit websites like Realtor.com or Realtor.ca or Zillow.com every single month. Tens of millions of people trying to figure out how much their home is worth. Why?
This just triggered something for me.
Because
I meant to tell you guys. I was watching National Real Estate Post this morning. Is it this morning or yesterday?
I didn't see it today, so.
Okay. They just mentioned we are at the highest point since 2007 for sellers on their average net profit when they sell their property. Guess what the average seller is walking away with today when they sell their home?
220.
Net profit.
Oh,
Net.
net profit. 15, 20,000.
Higher, yeah, I'd say what, 30, 40? Oh, really?
It's almost 50 grand is your average seller net profit right now.
Really?
It is the highest point they've been. So talk about providing information, keeping them updated. If seriously, this is one of the best sellers markets we have ever had. There's not enough inventory, and the net profit right now is higher than it's ever been.
Holy cow.
The difference is these people are buying homes with conventional loans as opposed to 2007 when they were ARMs and crap like that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So.
That's why, you know, isn't it interesting that I think another marketing tool is to say, you know, the market is at it's at its highest, its best season right now, and we don't have enough homes. That's why I need your home. You know, and I'm not being able to say that.
Where's that,
All right.
eggs campaign? What do we learn about that?
Want to be informed. They want to have the knowledge of the market. So with that said, is there an opportunity for all of you to serve your customers at a higher level? Yes or no?
Yes.
The answer is of course. We have to address the three things that stop most agents from creating a breakthrough with their referrals. Let's take a look at the three together. The first one is, we say to ourselves, I just don't know enough people. Have you guys been there before? I've talked to agents and I've been shocked. I say, well, how many people do you have in your database? And they go, database? All I have is my cell phone and I've got 90 people inside there. Let's be really clear. In business, the value of your business is the size of your database and the relationship you have to it. The size of your database and the relationship you have to it. If one day you have a goal to sell your real estate practice, what you'll be selling is the size of that database and the relationship and connection you have to it. So I'm going to give you guys a simple solution today to add 10, 20, 50, maybe even 100 people to your database of people that know you, and in many cases, you already write checks to, so they really know you and you know them. But we got to get them into the database. The second thing that stops us is we don't know what to say. You're going to hear me say this phrase repeatedly. Knowledge equals confidence and ignorance equals fear. When I know what to say, I'm going to go do it. But if I don't know what to say, there's only fear and hesitation. And that's where excuses show up. If you haven't been making your calls in your hour of power, I know why. You're in your head, and when you're in your head, it's a scary place to be. So how do we get you out of your head? We learn a couple dialogues where we begin to feel comfortable to get on the phone and talk to people. The third thing that stops us, of course, is the big one. Which database or CRM should I use? Now, I'm going to assume you have one. Is that correct, everybody? You've got something. How many of you have more than one CRM or database? Of course, I know agents that have 3, 4, 5 that they don't use at all. So today, why don't we start with solving number 1? I don't have enough people in my database. In your workbook, we've included for you a database building memory jogger. This simple tool is going to help you to remember all the people you know who should be inside your database. So as you go down that list, you can see it's alphabetical. All the A's, accountants, attorneys, and more. Now, some of these people you're going to immediately say, oh, that's Larry, or that's Mary, and you're going to add them into your system. Where others, you might have to do a little thinking, like, well, who is that person, and who is my primary, and how do I get them into my database? Now, if you've ever done this before, this is an excellent project for your do board. And write this down in your notes, please. An hour with this list and a little help from a website called LinkedIn, and your database is absolutely going to expand. So we're going to schedule an hour, review the list, make sure that we're on LinkedIn, and you're going to find everybody's name, address, email, cell phone, and more. And just like that, you're going to start adding more and more people to your database to generate more referrals. So that solves number 1. Now, we're going to spend a few minutes solving number 2. Think about it like this, my friends. How many times a month have you heard the question, how's the market? Do you guys ever get that? We've tracked this for years. We talk to agents every day that say, I get that question 30 times a month, 40 times a month. If they're really visible and doing all the things we're discussing, you could get that question 100 times a month. Now, it's not the question. It's how you answer the question that matters most. That's what we call the story. Now, you have a way you're doing it today. Someone says to you, how's the market? And you may use our old dialogue that goes like this. Well, that depends. Are you looking to buy, sell, invest, or rent? As each of the markets are different, which part of the market are you most interested in? And you might flush out what they really want to know. But understand this, my friends, beyond that script, you've got to say something about the market. Inventory levels are high. Inventory levels are low. Buyers are getting great deals. Buyers are struggling to write offers to get accepted properties. That's the story, my friends. Whether you're in a seller's market or a buyer's market or just a normal market, by answering these questions, you begin to build your story. So let's take a look at the 4 questions I want you to think about. Number 1, what problems are sellers facing today? What problems are sellers facing today? If it's a hot seller's market, they don't have many problems. But you could identify this problem. If the market is hot and I sell too fast, where will I go next? That's one of the reasons in a hot market we see sellers try and put off putting their home on the market because they're waiting, as an example. But what if it's a really slow market? What problems are sellers facing? How do I get my price? How do I sell in less time versus having to take 5 or 6 months? When you identify the problem, you begin to tell the story. The second question, what problems are buyers facing today? And once again, you'll say, if I'm in a hot market for buyers, they're facing different problems than perhaps a slower market. In a hot market, it's how do I write an offer that gets accepted? Or we're tired of looking on websites, and by the time we finally hear about the home, it's already sold. What are the problems that buyers are facing today? Question number 3, what's happening to home values? What's happening to home values? Now again, prices are very simple. They're either going up, they're going down, or they're flat. It's that simple. But by knowing the answers to these questions, knowing your past clients and sphere also want to know, can we begin to build a story? What do you guys think? Of course we can. Now listen, I can give you all a script and have you just start calling your past clients and sphere. Hello, my name is Tom. How are you today? But we're calling people that you know, That's not a good idea. Instead, we want to be telling stories. We want to be educating them, informing them, almost like inquiring minds want to know, and I'm calling you with the inside scoop or the gossip on the market. If you share stories in a fun way, guess what? Those stories become viral, and everyone remembers who started that story, and that'd be you. The last question, number 4, is the big one. How do you solve the problems of today's buyers and sellers? How do you solve the problems? So earlier we talked about all those problems they're potentially facing. Now, the key is to identify 1 or 2 unique things that you do differently, above and beyond everybody else, that creates solutions for those customers. Now, here's the reality, my friends. Is it a little bit of work on your part to create these stories? What do you guys think? So what if I told you there's a pattern you can use to write out these little stories in maybe a minute or 2? Would that be of value to you? And if you understood the pattern and you knew how to use it, then guess what? You could pull it out anytime, whether you're meeting a buyer at an open house or you're writing an email to a potential customer. Once you know the proven pattern, you become a masterful storyteller. Does that make sense? So, the best way to do it is to use the technique in your workbook called the Unique Selling Proposition, or USP. Now, I'm going to guess that many of you watching this, you've heard that phrase before. Today, I want to show you exactly how to do it. There's a pattern that you're going to want to follow. And as you can see inside your workbook, the pattern goes like this. Well, you know how problem people can relate to. Well, you know how when a good home comes on the market, it sells very quickly. Talking to a buyer, right? It's a problem that they can relate to. Then you say, what we do is unique solution to the problem. So watch how this plays out. To a buyer in a hot market. Well, you know how when a good home comes on the market, it ends up selling very quickly, and in many cases with multiple offers. Have you guys experienced that? They're going to go, yeah. Well, what we do differently for our clients is we actually find properties that aren't on the market just for you. Is that something you'd be interested in hearing more about? What's a buyer going to say? They're going to say, absolutely, tell me yes. And just like that, you created a simple, unique selling proposition for a buyer. So the pattern, again, you see in the book is, well, you know how problem they can relate to, make it generic and easy. What we do is something unique, something different that makes you stand out. And then the close, is that something you'd be interested in hearing more about? Now, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask you to pause this session right now, and I want you to create 1 unique selling proposition for the buyer you work with the most in your area. So whether that's an investor, or a move-up buyer, a first-time buyer, or a buyer relocating, you know the problems they're facing today. Use the pattern and write a unique selling proposition based upon what you just learned. Go ahead and pause the session. Do it right now.
What?
I have no idea. I'm not good.
All right, think of your
Yeah.
spiel,
Need idea.
and then we'll go.
Not that you just haven't practiced yet. So, okay. So, do you want to do Tucson? Do you want to go to, okay. So, if you had to gauge Tucson's market right now, what would it be? Is it hot, slow?
It's good.
Good?
Yeah. It's not as good as here, but
Okay.
decent.
Alright. So, would you call it more of a buyer's market or a seller's market just on the surface? Or just a good seller's market? Okay, cool. So, a lot of the problems, quote, buyers have in a seller's market is that, number 1, there's not enough inventory, so there's not enough home selection. So what is the solution we can offer for that? Another one is multiple offer scenarios, so they might put offers in on 3 or 4 homes and not end up getting any of them. So what's the solution you have for that? Another one would be what he was talking about, how if a person needs to sell, then you also need to try to find and buy another home, and that's a lot of stress because they have a timeline they can do. So we could provide a solution for that. So, pick one.
Needing to buy another one. It's just that one.
Okay. All right.
So,
So, you know how it is in a hot seller's
So you know what
market?
I did,
You
Fred?
obviously want to sell your home to take advantage of the
Because I
market,
had
right?
a couple that
But
would sell their
what's
home,
the problem
but they
that they're
wouldn't
facing?
have an idea
You know?
of
Might not be able
what
to
their
find
next one's
the home
gonna
they
be.
want fast enough to.
And so,
Perfect.
I set up the
Okay,
portal.
so then
Not a lot
what we
was
do
coming in,
is,
and,
Solution, but.
what we do is, and this is where you could simultaneously,
So
okay.
Josh showed me
We could be marketing, so you can set them up with the portal, you have your off-market
how in
list of
months
homes, you
I can
have
pull up the
your
neighborhood.
database, you
And
have
so
Pro
I
Realty,
pulled
which they don't even
up,
know what that
I
is,
think
but
it
it
was
would be
like
like,
24
we have
homes.
access to all
So it tells me
all the
who the
neighborhood info,
owner
we
is.
have access to all the
It
sellers,
tells
I
me
mean, there's a
how
lot of
long
different things, we
when
have,
they bought their home and what they bought
access
it
to
for.
wholesalers, a lot of stuff, so,
And then if I go into
we have
Monsoon
a
itself,
huge off-market
then it
selection,
tells me,
that's one of the best ones. When
like
people
for
are trying to
several
sell
of
their
them,
home,
the home was actually paid for.
we have, I'm
And
an
so
expert negotiator, so I'll be
I
able to
want to
negotiate you
actually
best to
go
the
door
policies.
knocking to
You know,
say,
I have, I
you
have
know
a
how
three-point
that,
selling
you know,
system
when
to
a
make
home,
sure you're
a
in
good
your new
home
home at
sells
the right time. Is
quickly,
that something you
in the
don't even need
market
to give
today,
away
we
the
don't
info?
have enough
Like,
homes
you
for
just,
enough
they need to know you have a
people
system.
buying.
Is that something
And
more
I have
you're interested
somebody
in?
that I think would be interested in
Information
your
about.
home, would
So,
you be interested in
That being said,
something? And to see if maybe I can
don't
help,
answer the problem.
help them
specifically.
find.
You want to tease the answer that you have, okay?
Okay.
So that being said,
I have
right.
like 8 homes that I wanna go, I'm gonna
Read the script.
keep it in. So, so that's kind
You
of my
got it.
spiel
I
for this one.
I
It's like,
mean,
you know
it's
how
just
a good
also
home on the market
routine,
sells quickly?
honestly.
There aren't enough homes on the market today to meet the need of the number of buyers looking. That's why we need your home. Have you thought about selling?
Pretend we're your students. You had to have your first day in front of a class at some point in time.
Yes.
And that had to be nerve-wracking as heck.
Yeah, so this would be,
Yes.
So
but
just
it's
pretend
like,
we're
you
your
know,
class
so
that
the
you've been
problem
with
they
for
can
6
relate
months,
to,
okay?
hopefully your unique
So just go for
solution
it.
and a win-win, because hopefully then if I help them sell their home, I can help them buy a home.
Well, you know
Because
how
now I
it
got
is.
somebody who wants to buy their home, so I can sell their home.
You do, it's right
Yeah.
there.
Well, I know
So just start there. Just say the first part. You got it.
this. Okay, well, you know
Kim?
how.
Kim, by the way, say hello to Julie.
Right. So, okay, start again.
Hi, Julie.
Well, you know how.
You know how, right now in Tucson, it's a seller's market.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right? And when you go to sell your home, it's gonna be nerve-wracking to try to find your new home. Does that make sense?
Good.
I'm just coming up with this on the fly. There's no right or wrong answer, so just don't be scared. It's just trying to do it. And the more you do it, you're gonna get better and better. So just kind of repeat what I'm saying. Okay, so you know how it is. Right now in Tucson, it's a seller's market.
Well, you know how it is right now in Tucson, it's a seller's market.
Okay? And when you sell your home,
And when you sell your home,
it's gonna be stressful and scary trying to find a new home and close on it in time.
it's going to be stressful and scary trying to find your new home and close on it in time.
So, next part.
So, what I can offer you.
What we do is-
is,
Okay, and let's say that we have a 3-point system to locate all the homes that are not on the market right now.
okay, so what we do is we have a 3-point system that helps you, or
And
we
then
can
you-
locate homes that are not on the market right now
Yeah, and negotiate great deals on those
and negotiate great deals on those
to make sure you close on time.
to make sure you close on time. Alright,
Now, last part?
is that something you'd be interested in hearing more about?
Absolutely.
Yes.
See? Good job.
It's hard
All
to
right.
role play, you know.
It is.
I find it easier to do the real thing than to role play.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, and that's why we do it this way, trial by fire. If you can do it with 50 eyes on you in front of people, you can probably do it in that close proximity
It's just-
too.
You'll
Yeah.
get more comfortable with it. There's a lot of unknowing, and so with unknowing, you don't know how
Yeah.
to step, and sometimes you just have to step in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no easy way to do it. You just have to step in it. You know,
Another-
people
yeah.
have a problem with phone calls, you know, calling out, and you're going to step all over it. And once you get into a groove and start to understand, you're just talking to a person.
Just do
You're
it.
just talking to a person. You don't have to put up any facade. You just have to talk. And a lot of people are like, you just talk. And that's what people want to hear. They want to hear you being genuine. That's what sales is, you being genuine.
I think so.
And we offer valid solutions for people and honestly want to help them. Then they will know that, and that's it.
And that's why it's a great time for our Canadian friends to sell their home. Because of the, what do you call it, the dollar comparison, it's like they will make at least 25% more, at least the way the market is in
Yeah.
Canada.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And that's the power of this little unique selling proposition. You could basically cater anything to it whatsoever. So what would be, for example, just now, mentioning Canadians, okay? Create one for that just now. You just basically did.
well, it's like, you know how that a good home that's on the market right today seems to be selling quickly? That means, you know, we don't have enough homes for the number of buyers looking, and that's why we need your home. And then as a, you know, the Canadian, the comparison, or no, that doesn't sound
Make
right.
it, you
But
started
know how-
way off
yeah, so-
topic. You didn't even mention the Canadians up front. So keep it simple.
No.
Okay,
But
that's
just to
the
say, and so.
Hold
we
on,
don't
take a
have-
step back really fast. Take a whole step back. Keep it 3 or 4 sentences. 3 or 4 sentences. That's all the script is, and that is the power of it, is you're not overwhelming people. Just, you know,
Oh, I thought you
well,
were.
you know how,
Okay, you know how a
So
good
what's the
home
Canadian?
sells quickly today on the market?
is that what you're trying, is that, okay, I thought we were
Because
doing
I
the
thought
Canadian
I'm a
proposition.
listing. Yeah, because I want their listing. Why want
Okay.
them to sell their home?
Okay,
Okay.
all right, go for it, sorry.
So, you know, a good home, you know, sells quickly today, and we don't have enough homes to meet the number of buyers looking. Would you be interested in selling your home?
That's a good one, don't get
Okay.
me wrong, but that's not the unique selling proposition. This is
Oh,
an
I thought
advertisement you're
yeah.
throwing out there to people, right? You're talking to a mass variety of
Right.
people that you can bring at any point in time, right? So
Uh-huh.
you didn't
So
you didn't
that's why-
offer a,
That's
you
why
just
we
told
need
them the
your
benefit,
home.
which is a seller's market, yeah,
Okay.
I guess, but, okay, I'm kind of thinking that's a very blanketed one in general, okay? So if you were gonna be what's the true benefit, okay? Any seller in a seller's market, that's a generic one. But truly speaking, if you're wanting to target the Canadians, like right now we have 5 Canadians,
Oh,
right now we can
okay.
target. How can you specifically say, you know how it is, Mr. Canadian?
Okay, and because now is the busiest time of year, we have more buyers, because we have our winter visitors, we're hitting our spring training, so we have buyers out there who are looking for your home. Would you be interested in listing it?
That's a good one. Okay, I think it's a seller's market. You're not listing off any problem that you're solving. Yeah, I mean, you're telling them it's a great time to list their home, which in general, that's an awesome ad, okay?
But we don't
But
have enough homes. And so
Okay, so
benefit,
frame it that.
because their home, they're gonna get top dollar for their
Okay,
home.
okay,
So what are
look
we
at
missing?
the script.
Oh, yeah,
Look down, okay? There's 3 there. You know
Right.
how it is. What is the problem? In a seller's market, there's not enough homes for buyers. But are you trying to tackle the Canadians or not? Because right now you're just tackling sellers. Canadians, what is the problem? The dollar fluctuates, so it's always hard to gauge what is the best time to sell. And they're putting, like, you just gave them the biggest benefit. Right now, if they were to sell, they're gonna get a 25% bonus on top of what they get. So if we sell it for $220 now, they're gonna get, what, an extra 60 some odd $1,000, right?
Mhm. But if they're buying, don't they get then less money here
With the conversion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
with the
Always.
conversion? So
They're
like
buying. Yeah.
now's the time for them to be buying if they wanted.
If they keep their money here, it's gonna max. Okay, I guess all I'm trying to say is, you're kind of blurring the script combo. You're giving a good message, but it's not necessarily like this message. Like, you know how it is, blah 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 blah. Like, and it's kind of, you're lumping like 3 different benefits, and you're already providing the solution right off the bat. Take it smaller chunks, okay?
All right,
don't
so give
just
an
throw, for
example.
example, and this is an
Design.
analogy I use a lot. Don't throw the Bible at them. The sermons are done verse by verse by verse. And so how can you take this big thing and actually turn that one big message into about 10 smaller ones and have it be a whole advertising campaign instead? You know, so you have a great message there, don't get me wrong. That would be a good ad. But you can break that down and target people even more and make more of an impact on several different bases.
All right, well, give me an idea
Well,
because I'm
put the
missing
end of,
something.
put one singular end in mind. Okay,
Are you
what are you
looking
trying to
to
do?
buy
Are
or
you having
sell?
them, are you having them, you're,
I wanna sell their home, so I was doing it as a listing.
okay, so you're doing the listing, who are we listing? The Canadians?
I want, that particular home, this happened to belong to a
Okay.
Canadian, yes.
Okay, so what would a Canadian's biggest problem be when they're trying to sell their home right now? That's what I'm getting at. So you threw out a great time to sell and a reason they should, but you didn't throw out any issues that they may have in doing it.
I don't know.
Okay, so in a seller's market, they have a lot of whatever, but right now the biggest benefit is maxing out their money. If there has their 10 years ago, where was their dollar?
I was about
It was
even.
under ours.
Yeah, okay, and that was
Now
the
it's
time.
over.
And
That
then
was
it-
the
and then
time
and
they.
then it
That was
did much better, and
Oh.
now it's down
75
stronger.
cents to
So if
$1.
I were a Canadian, I'd want to know when was the best time to cash out and take my money home, or should I keep it here, right?
Yeah.
So, and that is another call that a lot of them are having right now is, should I cash out and take my money home, or should I try to invest some more here and keep it here before it goes home? And invest in another property and try to keep the ball rolling. And so there's a lot of, Canadian things have a lot of stuff, but which one of those do you want to take? And that's where we can do a lot of different things. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, now's the time you need to cash out. So right now, I know one of the biggest issues you have is, when's the time to actually take my money home? Well, what we have right now is the best market ever. Is that something you'd be more interested in? Hey, right now is a great time to invest. Your dollar's even better than ours. So
So
have
got
you
one
thought about?
spiel, the second spiel, and the third spiel.
Yeah, you have sellers in
see.
general, which use that as a seller, but hit the Canadians where if you're gonna make a 30% profit, I would say, I would hit them right there with that.
Well, just on the dollar.
Yeah,
The profit is just on it.
A lot of the
Okay.
Canadians who don't live here year-round, they're just
They have
snowbirds, so
vacation
it's
homes,
difficult for
yeah.
them to break or build a relationship with somebody that they can trust. So the one thing that we always say with our Canadians is, listen, I know there's a lot of false information out there that you find when you go to list your home. So what we do is we work very closely with a title company that provides stellar service and can help you really make your way through all of the
Navigate.
transaction items. Is that something that you would be more interested in hearing about?
yeah, we're doofuses. What was the biggest lesson we just learned? And what it was one of the, had we had a valid answer right then and there for
We
them?
felt like, I did
What was
not,
it?
Taxes.
I did not
Oh.
meet
Yeah,
their
yeah,
need.
yeah.
No, it was
That's
taxes.
first
They had questions as far as taxes and how to best handle that.
Yeah.
So that would be another question that we could answer. Hey, I know there's a lot of questions about it. When you sell your home, what are the tax
Yeah.
consequences? What am I responsible for?
Yeah.
We work with a lot of Canadians, and, you know,
Yeah,
we're familiar with the
and our,
process.
you know, we can put you in touch, we always say that, we can put you in touch with someone who is absolutely on top of the game, she can help you manage
Yeah.
through. So, you know, I know some Canadians ask, you know, how am I gonna manage this if they have a tax ID here in the United States, which a lot of them do, or not. And it's just good to know what you're up against up front, because there will be some impact. And they see so much stuff online and they don't know what to trust.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
just
it's,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, and the key,
It's
the
one
power
idea.
to this one is
One
just
idea.
keeping it, yes, absolutely. See, there's a lot we could touch on. If we actually stop and think about it, what are their concerns? And that helps us put
Okay.
ourselves in their shoes to be able to know how to help them too. You know, it's easy to be an agent, you should buy a home. It's the greatest market ever, buy a home, you know? But how do we get in their shoes to know, oh, okay, this is what they need.
And not
to
overwhelm
focus on.
them, so even
Yeah.
though I was giving good stuff, I was overwhelming with too much.
Yeah, it's just keeping it, the power of this is just keeping it simple. Keep it simple, like, you know what the biggest issue is? Buying a new home, right now you're afraid of overpaying. I feel that, what we do is talk to, and you can, I'm just throwing them off the top of my head, I should actually write them down. But like, for example, right now in a hot market, people are afraid of overpaying. What are some of the things that protect them? Appraisals, to make sure you're gonna be protected by the appraisal, they can cancel. We can do, you know, in a competitive market, if there's a lot of offers, what's the solution we have? Escalation clauses. You know, there's a lot of different solutions, and just pick one or two. And here's the thing, like, you could do 40 different commercials. Like, you could hop yourself in front of a camera and be like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Canadian, have you thought about this? This is what we do for this. Boom, that's one ad. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, it's a hot market. I know it's tough to find your home. What we do is this. Boom, that's another ad. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, for here. And you can go down and do like 15 of them. Boom, 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 boom. This is one of the easiest marketing techniques you can utilize and hit people exactly where they need to be. It's awesome.
But it also satisfies, it's like you keep meeting their no. And I think that builds greater confidence from them for you, to you, and says, all right, you would always have my best interest at heart. So I get that. Okay. Yeah, don't let cleaning carpets get in the way.
Yes, no, or yes, all that
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, cool. I think we're getting it.
I think in each one of these, he managed to do 1, 2, he basically kept them to 3 sentences apiece, maybe 4. Yeah.
So welcome back. How did you do? Did you take the time to write out a few? I know you did. And for that, I want to congratulate you. I want to acknowledge you, because what that means is in under 5 minutes, you learn the art and science of storytelling. The ability to write an effective dialogue to communicate a problem and a solution, and then close for the appointment, or close to get more information to that customer. That unique selling proposition you're going to use time and time again, whether you're sending an email, sending a text, or talking to a potential customer face to face. It's a very effective strategy. Now, in your workbook, you'll see that we've created a few samples that you can look at and incorporate as well. So the good news is we've handled the issue of story. And I want to stress to you again, when you're calling your past clients in Sphere, we'll give you dialogues, but it's really important that when you're reaching out to people that you know, that you make sure that message is super relevant to them. Does that make sense? That's why you want to create and know how to use that unique selling proposition. So now let's solve the big one, number 3. Which database should I use? I can tell you, my friends, this is an area where I see a lot of agents get stuck. And ultimately, I want to be serious here, this can kill your chances for a breakthrough with your referrals 100% of the time. Now, I have to share with you, I do a lot of research. I ask a lot of questions. I posted on Facebook recently, which CRM do you use and why? And after 170 responses, guess what the answers were? They use everything under the sun. I actually had one person that posted on Facebook, I just use old 3x5 cards because that's what works for me. So I'll tell you, in doing my research, I've seen them all, every database management tool, every CRM under the sun. So would you like for me to share with you the one that's the best? Do you want to know? Do you really want to know?
Yes.
Here's the answer. It's the one that you already own, that you totally underutilize. You probably weren't expecting that answer, but consider this, my friends. Studies have shown that most people use less than 10% of any software solution they buy. Why? Because they never learned how to use the solution. They got excited because someone said, hey, I tried this one and it works for me. But they didn't hear the part where the person said, and then I spent 3 hours learning every facet of it, every detail of it, and setting up all my campaigns, and that's why it works. What we have a tendency to do is hear from another successful person, this is the one I like, and then we run off and we buy another solution. Which is why, when I asked that question on Facebook, I saw the number of people that stated, I use this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. And I know in their heart of hearts they were saying, and I use none of them effectively. Today, what we want to do is use what you have and use it more effectively. How's that sound? So I wrote down for you whether it is a solution that your company recommends or your company provides, or Outlook, or Gmail, or any one of the 100 other tools that are available. The best action you can take is to use the one you have. Now, I've got 2 important pieces of advice regarding CRM, because I know some of you were like, oh, he's going to share the new one to add to the 7 I already don't use. I'm not going to do that. I want to help you create a breakthrough. So here's 2 very important pieces of advice. Number 1, switching CRMs stops a breakthrough. Be really clear. Switching CRMs stops a breakthrough. If you're going to switch to a new program, please do it after this class, not in the middle of it. The second thing I wrote down is, you got to get to know the tools of your existing CRM. You know, if you use that wonderful website, Google, and you just type in the question, how do I best utilize the name of your CRM? Guess what? You're going to discover hundreds, if not thousands of blogs, tutorials, videos to watch of people just like you who cracked the code. Again, whether it's the company provided solution, Outlook, Gmail, Act, right on down the line. Because here's the deal, my friends, they're all good if you use them. So one of the projects you're going to be adding to your do board is to spend an hour or two this week going deep into your CRM, looking for what campaigns, what ongoing follow-up solutions, what short-term follow-up solutions should I be putting my buyers and sellers on, and how do I make sure all that data is organized. Now, I know you were looking for something special, and the special is do what you already have, just do it better. So, now I want to switch gears and talk to you about 3 marketing campaigns. Look up here, my friends. Do you like marketing? Do you want to send out messages and have people respond to you and say, I'd like to list or sell my house, or I know someone who wants to refer you business, right? Do you guys want that? So we've got 3 unbelievable campaigns that we're going to go through right now. Let's look at number 1 together. We call it the Connected Community Campaign. The Connected Community Campaign. Now, the mindset for this campaign is to keep you connected to your community, the people that you already know, to truly become, and I want you to please write this down, the knowledge broker. I want you to be the person that they think of anytime real estate comes up. Wouldn't it be great to get a call sometime during the week where someone said, hi, I've got a friend and they want to sell their house and they're 5 states over. Can you find me an agent over there? Would you be okay collecting that referral fee? What do you guys think?
Yep.
And if they called you and said, hey, we're actually thinking about finding a new gardener or someone we need for our house, is there someone you recommend? Are you okay with those phone calls as well?
Yep.
I hope that the answer is yes. Again, going back to what is your definition of service for your customers? My answer is anything related to housing, I'm their guy. How about you guys? So the Connected Community Campaign is critical because it's a way of messaging and connecting to make sure that they know you're the one if they've got any questions. So to do this effectively, we must realize that again we live in what we call the stream economy. People are living through their mobile devices and always seem to be attached to them, right or wrong, my friends? So that's the world we operate in. Therefore, one of the ways we've got to connect with them is through their mobile device. So let me ask you all, what if I told you there was a text message you can send to people that you know that attracts listings? Would you be interested?
Yes.
I mean, you're okay sending a text and having someone say, yes, we've actually been...
I'm going to pause it. When you look at what he's got right here, you know how he says, so he asks the question, they come back, and then that third section down, it says wonderful.
Are you on page
What's your,
32?
yeah, on page 32. Would it be actually because I want the face-to-face, because he says, do you want to meet for coffee or should I email or mail? And what I'm wondering is if I kind of email, I've kind of given them
Power.
a little bit of power, and so I'm just wondering, can I say, so once I have it done, you know, can we meet for coffee, are you available, like, and leave it at that?
Yeah.
Instead of, because I don't think I want to email it.
Or people love an alternate closing.
Yeah.
So meeting for coffee, or should I?
Stop by.
There you go.
Stop by. Okay, that's what I want to know. Because
Yeah,
I don't
stop
want,
by.
I feel that the email or mailing them, I've given them what they need, they don't need me.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, there's no impetus.
Good
Okay,
job, Mom.
I'm
Good
gonna
call.
take that out there, okay?
Yeah, and I
All right,
like pop
thank
by, drop by. Yeah.
you. Yes. Or stop by. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Good job.
Just food for
Be
thought.
thinking about that. Would you follow up on that lead and take that listing? Of course you would. I bring that up because one of the fastest ways you can get a response is sending text messages. You see inside your workbook, the numbers show us today that 90% of people respond to a text message in under 5 minutes. So take a look at the 2 texting scripts we provided in your workbook. These are easy to use, effective, and have created massive results time and time again. And you're free to start using them today. The second part is calling. Yes, good old-fashioned calling, like I've talked to you about the first 2 weeks, and just checking in with the people that you know. it still works and it's highly effective. Once again, you can take a look at the dialogues we've provided and you can use those along with your unique selling proposition to create stories. Now you've heard me say before, kind of be careful with scripts and dialogues when it comes to calling your past clients. I don't want you reading them, but you can use some of the questions we've given you to, break the ice and get to your story and connect faster. Now the third one is Facebook. We're all on Facebook, right guys? Well, what if I told you that Facebook is the easiest way to stay connected to your customers? Here's the challenge though. Can Facebook also be a time trap? What do you guys think? Right? The old joke goes inside our office, the receptionist we have was so much on Facebook that we finally put her in charge of it because she was on it 8 hours a day. The numbers that we see today regarding Facebook is people have that app open sometimes 2 to 3 hours every day as they're checking in with the people that they know. So for us, running and building our businesses, write this down. With over 1 billion people on it, you're going to spend 30 minutes each evening checking in with your customers. 30 minutes each evening checking in with the people that you know. So today, you can stay connected by checking in on Facebook, saying hello, or even just commenting on somebody's photo or their post. All three of these tactics, my friends, are highly effective and have been proven time and time again to generate that top-of-mind awareness we all desire, and of course, more referrals in a relevant way direct to people's mobile phones. So now the question is, what's the plan? There's going to be 2 new disciplines we want to add in to your business. Number 1 is I want you to continue to do your hour of power. The difference now is it might not be just making phone calls. Now we can begin to incorporate some text messaging. And I really want you to pay attention to how fast they respond and how much business can be done just by sending a text. The second one I want you to add into your daily discipline is spending 30 minutes at the end of every day on Facebook checking in. Now, I'm not going to give you a script because it would be awkward for you to post the same thing over and over again on multiple people's Facebook pages, especially if it's a small group and everybody knows each other. Instead, just trust your gut. Be mindful of this. You look down their screen, you see what they're saying, and you can like it, that's one thing, but understand they may not see the like. Instead, comment. Comment, hey, great photo, or congratulations, you got a new promotion. It would be really sad to say, oh my goodness, you decided to sell your home. You don't want to see that on Facebook, right? So 30 minutes every day of just checking in, trusting your gut, and engaging with the people you know. Now, let's switch to the second campaign. Who wants more referrals? So here's what I know. When I get you face-to-face with your past clients, with the people that you know, it's better than any marketing message you could ever send. That's why the second campaign is the coffee meeting. So in your notes, write down the following. While you're calling or texting or checking in on Facebook, I want you to incorporate campaign number 2, the coffee meeting. Now, the mindset behind this is pretty simple. You're at your best, as I mentioned, when you're face-to-face. Plus, you actually see how the customer's responding to the questions, watching their non-verbal answers, as well as listening to what they're saying. This is an opportunity for you to connect with the people that you know who've referred you business in the past, have bought or sold with you, as well as people you know. Now, consider this. You might ask yourself, who are the most influential people I know? Write down that question. Who are the most influential people I know? Because by inviting them, it's going to open up a world of opportunities for you to give them service and ultimately win a referral. Now, my goal, please write this down, is that you go on 3 coffee meetings a week. Yes, 3 coffee meetings a week. Now, you might be one of you saying, but Tom, I don't drink coffee. I really don't care. You can have lemonade, you can have a glass of water, heck, you can meet him for an ice cream. I really don't care. What I care about is that you meet them face to face, because when you do that, that's where the magic happens. So there's 3 parts to this campaign, and you can see it inside your workbook. Number 1 is the invitation. you can see I gave you a sample dialogue. Hey Name, would love to get together for a coffee, hear how you've been, and maybe give you a quick update on the market. Something as simple as that, as you see inside your workbook in a text, is going to trigger a response. The second thing is the meeting. Now this is important, my friends. When we get together with them face to face, if you just jump into real estate, you have that thing we call commission breath. So that's not good. We need to stop, spend some time getting caught up, buy them a cup of coffee if that's appropriate, ask some questions about how they're doing, and then we naturally segue over into talking about real estate. The easiest way to get them engaged in real estate is to ask them, so what's going on in your business? And they're going to tell you, well, I'm doing this, or I'm working on that, or we're involved in this. And then what might they naturally ask you back? Well, what's happening in your business? And now you've got an opportunity to tell your story. There's no inventory. There's lots of inventory. Rates have dropped. Rates are going up. Buyers are having a hard time. Buyers are having an easy time. Whatever your story is, that's your opportunity. Now here's where the money is. There's 3 questions that you should be asking on every one of these coffee meetings. So let's say I'm having a conversation with someone that I know, and I'm talking about the market, and I'm saying there's no inventory. Or I'm saying, buyers are struggling with this. The one question I want to ask every person is this: have you had any thoughts of selling? Have you had any thoughts of selling? It's such an easy question. I got to share a personal story. I have a client, Tim, who I work with, who I'll mention throughout this course. And I just finished a multi-day event called The Summit. And as I was sitting in my backyard, relaxing and staring out to the ocean in Newport Beach, all of a sudden my phone rings. And it's my client, Tim, and I answer because he's a friend. Hey Tim, how's it going? Did you have fun at the event? What was the breakthrough? What was your aha? And as he was sharing his story, guess what, my friends? I live on a little hill, and there's a fence down at the bottom. And as he's sharing the story, a rat about this big starts jumping across the fence because the home next door was being torn down. So all the ivy was in disarray, and this rat, boing, 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 hopping across the fence. Well, I'm watching the rat and talking to my client, as all of a sudden he says to me, hey Tom, I know we're friends and you're my coach. I gotta ask you, have you had any thoughts of selling? Well, guess what, in that moment, I had new thoughts of selling my house, because that rat was really big. Here's my point, my friends. Every person that owns a home has thought about selling it. The question is now the right time? Is their motivation to act ready? So it's critical for us to not judge the situation, but instead simply ask the question versus doing it like this. Have you had any thoughts of selling? Well, the good news is when you ask it like this and then you shut up, you watch their nonverbal. If the client sits across from me and does this, well, there's a pretty good chance they've had thoughts of selling. But if they just jump out and say, no, we totally love our house, well then you know it's a dead issue. Then you have the option to ask those 2 additional questions, which are, well, you must know someone who's had thoughts of selling, or who do you know that's had thoughts of selling? These questions, again, open up opportunities for them to say, well, the neighbors down the street I just heard are getting this, or they just got a job promotion, and just like that, a listing referral is right there ready for you. The third question I love to ask is, do you know anybody who tried to sell in the past, but it didn't work out? Who knows? Maybe they have an expired listing that they know that they can refer to you, and because they know you, like you, and trust you, they feel really comfortable giving you that referral. The bottom line is this, my friends, and I have to say it. There might be one brand new agent listening, so pay attention. If you ask question number 1 and they give you something positive, don't ask questions 2 or 3. Just stay with number 1, right? I've heard many funny stories of, I asked the first question and they gave me a yes, and then I just kept going. Common sense. We got to think, right? This is all about the dance. Now, the third part of the coffee meeting is your follow-up. So write this down in your notes. Really important that we follow up right after the meeting. So that could be in the form of a text message. Hey, thanks for meeting, it was great to connect, congratulations on your X, Y, and Z. You can acknowledge something that you remembered in the conversation. Those are always a great, easy way to follow up. That could also be done in the form of an email. The bigger issue is, if there was any promises you made, the faster you follow up and follow through, the more they judge you as a rock star expert agent. If you take too long to follow up, then guess what? They might think you're too busy for them, or maybe too busy for your referrals. So if you make a promise, follow through in that time frame and get it done. It's that simple. So can you all imagine doing a few more coffee meetings with your customers? And just by getting face-to-face, naturally the referrals will begin to show up. So now let's talk about campaign number 3. We call it the market update, or social proof of success. So the mindset here, and I want you to write this down, the mindset here is we want to keep our database informed on the real estate market and our success in it. So it's not just keeping them informed on the market, the key is to let them know that we're taking listings or we're making sales. If I'm a brand new agent, it could be we as in my office is taking listings and we as my office are making sales. So that's the first step. 1 to 2 emails a month. Now, you could be emailing your database over and over and over, but listen to this, my friends. If you're just drilling them over and over again, eventually you're going to end up in their spam box. So we can't have that. So notice with this, I said 1 to 2 beautiful, relevant email marketing pieces that we know they're going to open up. Number 2, write down 1 to 2 direct mail pieces a month. Tom, we're in the stream economy and you want me to use direct mail? What's the answer? Here's why. When everybody stops doing direct mail and you continue to mail, guess what? You're going to win. And our research shows that by mailing to your past clients and your sphere, by mailing to your database once to twice a month, again, even if your awareness is nothing more than them grabbing their mail and doing what we all do, bill, trash, 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 bill, oh, postcard from my agent, what a beautiful house, what a beautiful listing, turn it over, and then they trash it. Even if that's all you get, that's worthwhile when it comes to direct mail. So you will decide, based upon your budget, will it be 1 mailer a month or 2? And whether you're personally licking and sticking, I know that's kind of an old mailing term, of those stamps and those letters, or paying somebody else to do the work. Now, in terms of what to mail, here's some things you can send them. In your workbook, you can see a just listed or a just sold card. Those are, of course, the best way to inform people that you're taking listings and you're making sales. You can also send open house invitations, and something that a lot of our clients have been using for years is what we call great buys, or the deal of the month campaign. Write that one down. The deal of the month. If you know people that aren't thinking about selling, but maybe they're interested in buying, what does every buyer want? They want a deal. Well, we have companies all over the world that are identifying great opportunities in their marketplace, either for first-time home buyers or for investors, and by doing a little research and then writing up some information on that property, you're going to become known to the people inside your database as the person to go to if you want to find a deal. So that's another great piece you can send out. In addition, write down a market update as either a flyer, as you'll see inside our workbook and on our website, or in the form of a newsletter. If you're sending out newsletters, I applaud you, because in essence, you're blogging every single month by writing about the market. So the bottom line is this: 1 or 2 mailers a month to stay top of mind with all your customers. Now, make a note very quickly. In the members section of TomFerry.com, we've included lots of sample marketing pieces for you to review and to copy. So if you need more ideas, or you just want to use something different, or you just want to see what our amazing coaching clients are mailing and getting results from, it's all available for you at TomFerry.com. So let's summarize. For you to become the knowledge broker, the go-to agent amongst the people you know, I want you to begin taking the following actions. Let's write them all down. Number one, 5 text messages and or 5 calls or a combination in your hour of power every day. Number 2, I want you to spend 30 minutes in the evening checking in with the people that you know on Facebook and making comments and just staying a part of your community. Number 3, I want you to go on 3 coffee meetings a week. We're here in session 3 of Breakthrough. I've got 7 more weeks with you, which means I want 21 coffee meetings between now and the time that Breakthrough ends. And you and I both know, when you're face to face with people, that's where the magic happens. Number 4, I want 1 to 2 beautiful nudge emails to your database every month. Again, where you're sharing what's happening in the market, you know, the meter of, is it a buyer's market or a seller's market? As you get on Nudge, you're going to see there's so many beautiful pieces that you can send, and then share a few of your thoughts and words on what's happening in the market. And then the last one, number 5, a minimum of 1 mailer a month. So now you know what I want you to do day in and day out, month in and month out. You're going to break through and generate more referrals. So let's look at your homework assignments for this week. Number 1, your first step is, what projects are you going to add to your do, doing, and done board? Is it the memory jogger? Is it typing up your own personal stories that you want to share with your past clients in Sphere? Number 2, I want you to schedule 1 hour minimum to learn how to best utilize your existing CRM. I promise you this, my friends, the one you have is going to work. You just need to learn a little bit more about it to make it more efficient. Number 3, continue to schedule your hour of powers. Number 4, I want you to decide who you're going to invite to coffee this week and begin to book those appointments. Decide which piece you're going to mail and by when. So now, how you feeling? Do you have a lot on your plate? I know you're feeling it, and you might be feeling a little overwhelmed. I want to just make a statement, and you're going to hear it a lot. When you're feeling overwhelmed, it simply means you're underplanned. So all we need to do now is take a deep breath. And as this session ends, spend 15 minutes doing a little planning session. Get the projects up on your do board and decide in your schedule when you're going to work on your business. So take advantage of everything we're discussing, get into massive action. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about how to generate more online business and win more online listings and buyers. So between now and then, do your homework, get to work, keep your attitude high, and be in massive action. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week. Well, now it's time to be in massive action and begin to generate as many referrals as possible. I know that I've introduced some new campaigns, some new twists on perhaps what you've done in the past successfully. If you need some help, now's a good time to call my office at 888-866-3377 and talk with one of our coaches about the campaigns, how you can best implement them. Perhaps they can answer a few of the questions that you have so you're out of your head and you're in action. So if you need help, call the office today, 888-866-3377, and let's get you that next break.
All right, you have your to-do list?
No.
You know what I love is that it's just, you know, when you take what he's given us from the first week, so your hour of power, but more than that, you know, starting with that, just the 10 positive things, and then keep it kind of adding to your hour of power. But you're going to keep adding to your database. So it seems like every week, I bet we've got like a name or two to remember, or it's like, oh, I forgot. So go ahead and do that. And I love the challenge, you know, because like when we say we're going to do something, do it right away. Because isn't it amazing how something always seems to interfere and then I don't get it done? And you have every good intention. So I love that 5 text messaging, but just the 30 minutes checking in, just with Facebook, I love, how many people have birthdays? It's like, do you know so-and-so has a birthday today?
Mhm. Yeah, that's huge. Trying to do that, but as you guys, another good homework thing you guys might want to add that grows your database is your personal friends on, well, your personal friends, your friends on Facebook.
Mhm.
Okay. The way they do it on Facebook is interesting. Your business page has to organically grow, right? You can invite your friends to like it, but they don't have to. And then you, whatever ads you do in outside people, that's how you build that. It could be however big. It could be millions of people that just follow you, right? So when you post stuff to your business page, it can get massive. Your personal friends, on the other hand, they limit it to 5,000. You could have a lot of people following you, but you can only have 5,000 friends, okay? So when you're posting stuff right now, how many people is it going out to?
Because if you hit your friends, they
Well,
have their friends.
well, hold on, but that's where we're getting. But how many friends do you have? If you're hovering at 200 to 400 friends, which most people on Facebook have, you're at what, 1/20th of your capacity, because you should have 5,000 friends, right? You need to grow all the realtors, all your clients, all your people. Try to, if you don't have that many people, you're really just limiting how much, and then that's how many people you can invite to like your business page too. So they feed one another. So I'm not saying get rid of your Facebook in the context of it's you, but just make sure you know that the power it can and will have on the business side too, and to have them complementing each other is massive. I didn't realize that because I kind of slacked for a little bit, and you'll find that we post more than most. And we do post some things that some people that, are hardcore only friends will unfriend you because we're posting extraneous stuff, and that's what we do. But for the most part, people will stay. And so here and there, you'll have to re-up your friends. And so broaden your criteria. Don't get people you don't know. But if you see that you have 10 or 15 connections minimum, might be a good person to add. If you have, at this point, I have 4,000 friends, so I need at least 50 connections in order for it to really make sense for me to add them. So, but make sure you utilize, because that's again, free advertising. Hey, I'm doing an open house this weekend. Who's free to pop by? Hey, all that good fun. So that's the other challenge, to grow your database. That could be a huge part of it too.
Just from doing that, when you first mentioned it a few months ago, I went from 300 friends to 650, and it was only people that I had at least 20 similar contacts with. I didn't go any lower than that.
Perfect.
And it's crazy how many connections, and then people are like, oh hey, I haven't heard from you in a while, what are you up to? Oh, guess what? I'm just getting into real estate, it's so exciting.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's how it should, exactly. Great.
Good
Yeah.
advice.
High five.
True.
So,
You know, the thing too about the massive mailers, have you ever used Direct?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, we use them for postcards. I do a monthly mailer and a monthly, I do one or two a month already. I do a magazine, and then that goes out 6 times a year, every other month, and then on the opposite months, or sometimes I overlap, it just depends on what the message is. I do a mailer. Again, in the Buffini system, they give us a piece that we can use, and I just print it out, click them and stick them and send them out. But we do some direct mail pieces with Every Door Direct too, when we're kind of going into certain neighborhoods, or we're gonna do a bigger just listed or just
Only
sold.
because it's so affordable.
Yeah, it's very, very easy once you get it set up, it's
All
very
right,
easy.
excellent. Well, what's your take from today? What do you think?
I think it's real important that you create your database, start on it.
How you doing on it?
Not very well, I need your help. I have a lot of contacts in my Yahoo, but how do I get them into a manageable way of doing what we need to do with it?
Well, I learned another step Tuesday. Okay. So I can help you do that.
it's all about having fun and experimenting. Yeah. This is where on our jeez, I can't talk right now. On our website, I added the agent links page, and so on there you'll see that the Tom Ferry logo is there. They don't give us a group login. Okay, so everybody feel free to use mine because you absolutely have access to it. And I verified with my coach that you guys do. And since I'm the elite coaching member, everybody has access, right? So it's my email, thejosh@brepum.com, to log in. And then the password is just my last name with a capital E. Okay? And in here, you will have anything and everything you want. And since I'm in, since this is weird, it's mainly meant for coaching in teams and stuff. So I'm one of the rare brokers. So you'll see that I'm not utilizing this on the surface, you know, all this stuff per se, because we're on a different level, I guess, you know. So I can't actually track your guys' phone calls per se and all that good fun. So we kind of use it on a regular, so don't really think too much into it when you log in, like, oh, we're only at 2% of our volume. No, not even remotely. But on the left-hand side here, this is where you have access to everything. So documents, resources, they have conference calls that you guys can join. That's the business plan there. This is Breakthrough by Design. You can go back and watch any of the episodes, do any of the weeks that you want. Tom Ferry on Demand, they just switched a bunch of this. Yeah, so this might be one of my things that I do. But, and then event tickets, you get huge discounts. So for example, on the surface, the thing next week, the 3-day event, I think on the surface it's like $300 or something. For agents, for our group, it's like $160 total for all 3 days for everything and whatnot. And we get to sit in the exclusive sections and all that good fun. So we have a lot of good things to go there, but the resources are huge. Take advantage of these. They break it down: lead gen, scripts, open houses, online marketing, team building, listing, business plan, mindset. And then you just click on any of them, right? And then it brings up everything here. And you'll see that there's 29 different, yeah. And these case studies are really actually kind of cool. Like, this person's really good at Zillow. So it breaks down exactly what they did to do what they got. So this person made $475,000 from Zillow, blah blah blah, and monthly investment of $4,500. And so this is how we did it. You know, Zillow is a great thing if you have good systems in place and can spend some money. But for example, like community outreach, this is a good one. Okay, so you got Bob and Peggy. They spoke. Oh man, I forget which one they spoke at. Her videos on YouTube when she was interviewed by Tom. And what they do is just really, really, really neat. Great couple. See what you're talking about too. Like, careful not to be invasive, salesy at events and follow-up. You know, they're all about the relationships and they want to serve people. And having all 120 teachers here, it's booking 4 blocks of time. So they do some really cool stuff. So there's a lot of successful people out there. Find out what they did. It might be what you might love to do. You know, not everybody has to make all the phone calls. Not everybody needs to knock on doors. Not everybody has to hold 40 open houses. It's a great way and it's proven. But if you could find one of these, that's you, and you can make a fortune doing it. Rocket. That's why I love this. This is one of the greatest things. So I want somebody, if somebody does embrace this, please let me know, because I would love to keep track of it and keep featuring and just things of that. Yeah. It's where I really wish April would have, because her story would have been, one of our past agents, she came from a very bad upbringing and it overcame a lot. And so, like battered women's shelters and things like that are very big for her. And so, I wish she would have embraced it. She's a part-time agent, and I'm not even sure if she's really focusing on real estate anymore. But that would have been just talking about making an impact and having a personal story to mean it, be put behind it is neat. So, yeah. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, and Side note, we do have